Welcome back to the 2000 series, the grand finals. Mr. X joined by Ben Bow.
Wow.
Ben Bow.
Using the full name, Matt Morello.
The Bow just sounds gangster, that part.
Morello. Well, I feel like we could do something with this. I'll give you the beat. I'll give you the beat, and then you hit it with the rhymes.
People in the chat wanted me to sing some Taylor Swift. Not going to do that. Not going to do that today. Maybe on another day, though. We were talking about, coming up with some like funny skits for during the week to do. Yeah,
I really want to do some skits. I think it'd be great. I think, allows people to see.
I said the first thing we should do is we should throw Ben off the roof of the building and see if he lands on his feet.
I mean, as long as you give me a parachute, I'm down.
Yeah, fine.
Mike 16 Aguero in the chat. You are my favorite person. I'm just gonna
check my Instagram.
Yeah. That was good times. Good times. Yeah, anyway, Hardpoint Detroit Grand Final Prophecy versus Denial. We both kind of have Denial winning this, right?
We both said Denial we thought would win, but I think both these teams are evenly matched. I think, that they both have, the same qualities, pretty much. They're kind of pretty much the same team, just built on with two different groups of players. I would say Attach, definitely the difference maker for Denial in this series. He's been playing, I would say he's been playing much better since Zuma and Saints are on Envy now.
Yeah. He's kind of been able to spread his wings and fly. That's for sure.
His role never fit with those players because they like to run around aimlessly and like slay. Not aimlessly, but they like to run around and they like to slay. Didn't let Attach do his thing. He became kind of like a secondary OBJ player, and you can see he's absolutely crushing right there, Ben. Starting off this game hot, 8-5. Even though Denial down, looking good to come back.
Ricky falls on the hill. Bo's trying to make something happen. As he goes around trying to flip those spawns. Nothing going to happen. He goes down as well. So Replay is going to be lying on that hill, picking up a lot of time. And apparently Replays earlier on in the day, Matt, got a, was that a
three-person grenade on S&D versus Spacely & Co.
I mean, how does that happen?
We've been seeing players recently, Ben, game skips a little bit. Recently, Ben, we've been seeing a lot of players messing around with those pre-nades on S&D especially, throwing them over buildings, getting people right off spawn. Pretty much, you can spawn nade, the explosive delay is turned off. That's something that I think some players want it to be looked at.
Right.
Don't think they should be able to get spawn naded, but they're doing a very good job of using that, some players. And I know Replays, Mochella, two of the better ones out. Yeah,
we saw Mochella get one earlier on in the day. Just fired that off and within seconds managed to get himself a kill. Fizzip also a notable player when it comes to those grenades in S&D. This game tied up though, Matt, with nearly 3 minutes gone. Are you surprised by that at all?
No, I'd expect this to be a pretty close game back and forth either way. I think right now you're going to have to look at, Cat from Denial. Going to have to play a little bit better. 7-9, very low score for a hardpoint game. Not a lot of engagements.
Looking over the prof lineup, Bo's double negative, Classic double negative, yet they're staying just within reach. So definitely Denial outslaying, but not really getting too much presence on the hill as it rotates one more time. Place is going to try and break in, picks up the kill, and manages to get himself on this hard point, but needs some teammates to support. And it looks like the big push is going to be coming from behind. And Clay now is going to need to pick up a couple of kills. That's going to be one. Connects with that 1 second. It's going to be there. Pre-fires and actually falls. That was unfortunate, really, from Clay. Classic breaking the hill.
Interesting point I want to make. A lot of people have said Clay is more of a statue, stand-up player. In this game, even when he was on Envy, towards the end, we saw him do a lot of, submachine gun work, pushing hills, and, playing from in and around, the objective. Clay's kind of developed out of that, stand-up AR-only role. Right. I think he's expanded his game a lot, especially, I think the time on Optic Gaming really did that. I think he's just still has that kind of, stereotype that he's a post-up player, but definitely not anymore. As you see, he's around the hill right now, just picking up that skills.
Ricky gonna fall as he was trying to rotate. Moch needs to pick that kill up. Not gonna happen. But despite that, Prophecy in the lead here. against Denal, and Ron actually hit us with a pretty interesting stat. Denal have a team in the final of 3 events right now. There's Halo, there's this Call of Duty, and as well as that, there is Counter-Strike. So, pretty good week for Denal.
Yeah, pretty good weekend be Denal.
A few things that happened. But replays, 18 and 13, top of the team.
Replays, I know we don't see him in that position often, but one of the better Slayer OBJ players. You know, when we did the fantasy draft, you weren't here for that. I'm sure you would have drafted a pretty good team. One that would have made a little bit more sense than some of the others.
Worse than Jack Max's, let's put it that way.
I think Replays was one of the players I was shocked that like really didn't get drafted or really, you know, even in the conversation wasn't looked at strong. I think Replays is very underrated. I know, I guess we would call him an OBJ player, but he definitely slays a bit more than, you know, an OBJ player.
Has his inconsistent moments, I feel, on AW. But if you look at previous titles, going back to that draft, definitely a good objective pickup, in my honest opinion. I mean, but as you said, do you really class it as objective? I mean, sometimes I feel he just does that selfless role where, okay, oh! Holy damn, that was nice. Sometimes he does that role where it's just like, well, I'm just going to take it for the team. I'm going to fill in what needs to be done. And,
yeah,
you know, if that means going 1-7 at the break of a hard point, but winning and getting more time on the hill, then so be it. He's more than happy to do that.
I agree. He definitely blends into more of that role, as you see Mochilla picking up 2 right there, then accidentally killing a teammate, but it's all right. Cap is a player who I think he really needs to figure out his role. What is Cap's role right now? I mean, usually every COD he's been a Slayer. Usually starts playing his best around Champs time. We always see JCap play pretty well at COD Champs. Do you think he's still, you know, a main Slayer type of person, or is his time with Envy? I feel like on Envy he kind of turned into that support player, which it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people, you know, compare him, not really compare, but link him and Proofy together.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were in the same spot, right? You know, Proofy going on Optic Gaming went to more of a support player. After that, had a tough time adjusting back. JCap with Envy, you know, had a tough time adjusting, you know, back to becoming that Slayer. Definitely an odd spot for him, but starting to play a bit better.
I think on this team, definitely he's more of that support player. You know, you got Clayster and you got Attach. Attach is always going to be your explosive Slayer. I think Clay as well. They both can drop some massive numbers. And don't get me wrong, JCap has his days where he'll come out and he'll, you know, top frag. But realistically, his role within this team should just be to, you know, support the other 2 main Slayers, help out Replays a little bit on those hills as well.
Right, I completely agree. I think on this team, he's more of that support player, you know, helping Replays out. Replays right now playing extremely well. Does Clay have Gung Ho on?
That's Clay. That was weird. It's switched.
Clay was dead.
Yes, he does.
But he does have Gung Ho on, so we're starting to see more people use Gung Ho. We saw, I believe, Dito and John both run it with BAL setups.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Really surprised to see people use it with the BAL, but Clay opting to use it with the ASM1, and I feel, as weird as this is going to be to say, but bear with me, okay? For online play, I think it's more viable than LAN. Because it kind of gives you that quicker reaction. You're going to fire that first bullet. Shot. It's going to give you that first shot almost, you know, 90% of the time, as long as you aren't, you know, a 98-year-old grandma who has the reactions of a turtle. So, I honestly think at LAN, I don't really know how effective. I mean, it's obviously going to be a little bit effective because you're going to have that first shot. But I'm interested to see, is it really going to be as powerful as a couple of people are really expecting it to be? Yeah,
I think it's going to be, once we get to LAN, probably not as effective. Somebody in the chat actually just, I'm reading the chat, just trying to keep up with some of the stuff you guys need to know about. Proofy. News about Proof. He is on FaZe Black at the Michigan eSports LAN this weekend. He is playing with a pickup team. I believe he's playing with Brian Saint. Not really sure.
Yeah, he went there just for a fan meetup more so than anything else. And the fact that you could find a couple of people to play with was more just a bonus.
Like a bonus thing, yeah.
For Proof, but Proof having some fun out there, I see.
Yeah, good guy, Proof. That team is going to be Apathy, Study, Sensor, and Proofy, playing under the FaZe lineup as FaZe Black.
How solid do you reckon that is?
I think they'll do okay.
Yeah?
I don't know. Is that team good enough to win champs? I'm not too sure. But do I expect a high placing from them? I would think so. You know, Sensor and Apathy are 2 pretty proven players.
Yes, definitely. Already with a championship in AEW. So, I'll give them a little bit of props. But this game is going to be completely out of reach. Now go 1-0 up. in the series.
Denal going to take this one pretty handily. Clayster going off 41 and 25 right now. Still with some time left, 40 seconds left. But, you know, him and Attach, really, you know, the main slayers for this team. Attach doing a good job of just playing aggressive, tons of engagement, 37 and 36. Replays doing another, you know, good game out of him in that, you know, kind of OBJ support type of role. And JCap had a pretty bad start, but finished off pretty strong, 25 and 31 now.
I feel like his bad start was just completely negated. I mean, Embo's as well, 20 and 37. So
yeah.
You look at both those two players on the team, and they're just not keeping up with their teammates. So that does open up that little bit of gap for JCap to manage to get himself back into this game. But Clay almost dropping 45 kills in that game. And
definitely helps.
Replays, the big thing about Replays there is he's may not have picked up the most kills on his team, but the fact that he's going to be that player to look on the hill and he isn't dying tells you a lot of things. I mean, it tells you that his teammates are slaying around the outside of the hill, so he doesn't really have that much to do on the hill. But when he gets challenged on the hill, he's winning those gunfights as well. So you can't really ask for anything more from Replays.
Very good point, Ben. You know, Replays staying alive in the hill, you know, and picking up those kills. Finishes with 7 defense and 10 captures, so huge game out of Replays.
Yeah, nicely played. So Denal go 1-0 up in the grand final of the 2K. For now, quick commercial break. When we return, Search and Destroy.